For our final problem, we have absolute value of x minus 1/2 equals 3/5. This absolute value is already by itself, and we have equals a positive number, so we're good to go. In case that this number were negative, there will be no solution for this problem. So this is ready to be broken down into two cases: the positive of this number and the negative of this number. So we're gonna have everything inside the absolute value equals the positive of that, and everything inside the absolute value equals the negative of that number, which is negative 3/5. Now let's solve for x in each case. All we have to do for case number 1, since x is already by itself, there's no other x anywhere here, all we have to do is to move this 1/2 to the other side. Notice here that is subtracting 1/2, so the opposite of subtracting will be adding 1/2 to both sides. So I'm gonna have this cancels, and I'm left with x equals 3/5 plus 1/2. Do not add this directly, okay? When you add fractions, you need to have the same denominator in here. That means we need to look for the less common denominator, okay? Or LCD in this case. Between 5 and 2, my LCD happens to be 10. Therefore, I need to make both numbers into a 10 by multiplying by some number. That 2, I need to multiply by 5, because 2 times 5 gives me 10. If I multiply the denominator by 5, I need to multiply the numerator times 5 as well. Now let's go back here, 5. One number times 5 gives me 10. That happens to be 2. 5 times 2, 10. If I multiply by 2 the denominator, I also need to multiply by 2 the denominator. Therefore, I'm going to have 3 times 2 will give me 6. 5 times 2, that will give me 10. Plus 1 times 5, 5, and 2 times 5, 10. Now I have the same denominator. All I have to do is to write down one of them and combine the top numbers, or the numerators. That'll be 6 plus 5. That'll be 11. Since 11 and 10 cannot be simplified, that will be one of the solutions to this problem. Now, let's go take a look at case number 2. Same process. We need to solve for x. That means that we need to leave it by itself in the left side. So, let's move the negative 1/2 to the other side. It's subtracting, so the opposite will be addition to both sides. So negative 1/2 plus 1/2 cancels. On the left side, I'm left with x equals, and then bring the negative 3/5, don't forget the negative, plus 1/2. Same process here, combining fractions. In order to add or subtract fractions, I need to have the same denominator. So I'm gonna do the same step that I did here in the case number 1. So my LCD is 10, right? So I need to multiply this 2 by 5 and also the numerator of the fraction. And the 5, I need to multiply by 2 and the negative 3 times 2. So I'm going to have negative 3 times 2, that will give me minus 6, and 2 times 5, 10, and bring down the plus, 1 times 5, 5, and 2 times 5, 10. Now, since I have the same denominator, bring down one of them and combine the top, or the numerators. But in this case, I have a negative and a positive 5. That means negative 6 plus 5. One negative, one positive, subtract, and keep the sign of the higher number. So 6 minus 5, that will be 1. But 6 is higher and is negative, so keep the negative sign. So, and remember, this negative, it could be here on the top, or it could be here in the middle, or it could be here in the denominator. It's not common to leave the negative sign in one of the numbers here. So preferable write it down in front of the fraction. It means the same thing. So my other solution, -1/10.